Will the pandemic change real estate investing? That was a question that was posed to the OG of YouTube real estate, which is Mr. Dave Ramsey. On a call, somebody called in and asked him that question, and he gave his thoughts, and I agree with some of them and I don't agree with others. And in this video, I'm going to share with you, most importantly, how you can take advantage of the current situation, because at the end of the day, the news here, news there about all these kind of things, do they really have an impact on your life? No, it just makes you more informed. And my thought process is, rather than bring you news, I would bring you my thinking process about how you can take advantage of the situation and profit and make some money, because we are all capitalist, right? Otherwise we wouldn't be here in the USA, we'd be in some other foreign country. So he doesn't believe that there is going to be a foreclosure boom. He doesn't believe that there's going to be a foreclosure boom because of the fact that he says that that all the markets are not the same. You have some markets that are really suffering and some markets that are doing well because of migration, right? So for example, New York isn't doing well, but Florida is doing really well. I would agree with him on that each of these markets, you have to look at them individually to determine how they're doing, and there are going to be some markets that are not doing that well. In terms of the foreclosure boom, he says that there will not be a foreclosure boom. My question about that is that I was actually reading an article recently, and it said that over, I think, 3.5 million homeowners right now are in forbearance. Now, granted, some of those individuals are going to be able to get out of forbearance, right? Because they haven't been making the mortgage payments. But now, what then? What then? Not everybody is going to be able to do that. A small percentage of them, because the people that are in forbearance are the people that have had a loss in income or a job. Now, obviously, if the government continues to give stimulus and continues to give help to the banks in order to not have to foreclose on these people, but at the end of the day, the rubber has to meet the road, and something's going to happen with these properties. And I think it's safe to say that not, out of 3.5 million. Even if you said, half of them are, going to be able to figure things out with their lender, but the other half of them are not, that still leaves a pretty good number of people, over, 1.5 million people, 1.75 million people that are going to be in a situation where they don't have the income, the payments have been postponed, and now there's nothing else that they can do. Now the bank has to foreclose on them. And I do believe that there's going to be a larger number of properties available in a foreclosure boom. Now, one of the things that he mentioned in this article, in this video, was that he made a lot of money, he said, in 2008 because there was a fire sale of properties. And I unfortunately did not get it, was able to take advantage of that situation in 2008. I lost a lot of money. I wasn't taking care of my finances right. And in the end, I wasn't in the best financial position in order to take advantage of the subsequent, the amount of properties that were available at a very low cost. And I have friends that end up buying a bunch of properties at a very low cost because all the pricing was depressed. And then he owns 50, 60 rentals and is making a significant amount of money on all these houses because he bought it at a good price. So I think that that's the opportunity. Now, how does that relate to you? How can you take advantage of this opportunity? Well, you have to think further ahead. You have to think about the fact that situation of being able to buy properties at a very much of a discount is not going to happen now. And it's likely not going to happen in 2021. If it does happen, it might happen at the end of 2021, again, because the banks have to foreclose. They have to kind of go through the process, and then eventually they're not going to do that at the beginning of the year, right? Especially with this new administration, who knows what Biden's going to do. So then now you're looking at 2022, where really potentially now you might have that, a large degree of foreclosures happening in the marketplace, and now the opportunity. So now, keeping that in mind, what can you do now? What you can do now is to try to make as much money as you can, as much cash as you can, hoard that cash. This is what I'm planning on doing. And then when the opportunity presents itself, when the market declines, now you're sitting with all this cash in your hand. Now you can go and buy all these properties that are on a fire sale. And now you can put yourself in a position where you can buy these properties. The rent is still going to be good because people need a place to rent. Because if you think about it, all these property owners that are going to have their properties taken from them, they still need a place to live. So they still need to pay rent. And so then now that puts you in a great position to not only have a great rental property at a lower cost, which means that you'll make more money per month. But as with all markets, the same thing that happened in 2008, 9 and 10 prices were low, then they subsequently increased. And then now, if you wanted to, this is really up to you now at that point, you can sell that inventory and make a big chunk of cash. Or you may decide, you know what, I like the rental income. I'm just going to maybe sell a couple of them, pay down the debt, and then now I own this portfolio of properties free and clear, and now you're all set. So that would be my play. So do I think that Dave Ramsey is accurate? Somewhat accurate. However, I think he's more conservative, and he says, hey, real estate is a long-term play, and I would agree with that. However, the short-term play is for you to make as much money as you can now in order to then be prepared. So how do you do that? How do you go out and get a bunch of cash in your hand right now if you've got a full-time job or if you're doing something else? Well, the best thing to do is to make a bunch of cash now in exactly the same thing that you're going to make a bunch of cash later. So right now it's real estate. Now, how can you get involved with real estate? You can get involved by flipping contracts, which is what I teach and what a lot of people do out there, that are students and even people that are not my students, where they're actually contracting properties and then selling the agreement. I'd recommend you learn how to do that. Now, I have a video that may pop up here or there, I don't know where, that is going to show you specifically how to do that and how it all works. And that gets you into the real estate market, helps you acquire a bunch of cash, and then you'll be ready when the foreclosure boom happens, and then you can clean up and make a ton more money.